So the judges are in place and their eagle eyes watching your every move, Kade, and you can go ahead and enter the pen whenever you like.
Easy, girl. Okay. Yeah, I see you there.
Okay, 45 minutes starts now.
Okay. Hey, sweetheart. Personal boundaries here. Holy bananas. Hey. Okay, guys, let's see what Dixie we have today. I've seen a few different versions of this animal. Let's see what we're working with today. Oh, the pushy one. Oh, she's back. Yeah, grab a noodle, whatever you need. I want her to start, even though that she comes up to me, that's great, but it's the rude that she's got to start getting under control. That right there. So instead of just going to chase her around, I'm just going to keep pushing her off me till she'll come to me with a little bit of a better look on her face. I don't want to have to overwork her here just to catch her again. I felt like I had to push pretty hard, but I also am not going to let all that good stuff we got slide. So when she comes to me kind, her and I can start to work, but I don't dare start her until I feel like I have a good brain on her. You can see there she's quite vocal about what she thinks of me.
Interesting look she shot you there. Gee.
Interesting. I like how you chose that word. It's not the one I would have used. You know, it's funny. People have been asking me what I think of her, and she's great. Just depends on what side you get off of her. You know, her good side's fantastic. And just trying to get her more consistent with that good side is going to be kind of the focus of her training here or whoever gets her after. And once you get that good side to be her only side, she's going to be great. But when she changes, whew.
In the evolution of a horse's feet, they originally did run on what was called the middle fingernail. And I think she was looking for that middle finger.
She's been giving me the middle hoof here first of our sessions for a while, but she does come out of it pretty good. And you know, that's horse training. She might start a little rough, but she's been a doll at the end of all of our sessions. I got no complaints. She's a nice horse. Hey, sweetie. There. See that? That right there. Take a picture. Hurry before it changes. Hey, sweetie. I like how she's been training you guys. And it's kind of a funny thing, but how horses train people cracks me up. I listen to you guys clap all day. Our booth's just right over there. And you guys have seen that when you clap, she runs over top of me. So she's taught you guys to clap soft. Ain't she a good trainer? Thank you. I know you're doing it for my benefit. There you go, doll. Look at that. Good girl.
A little better than this morning.
Yeah. Holy moly, you're going to take some brushing. Okay, so she feels pretty good now. I kind of got her dialed in a little faster than I did earlier. I feel like there's still some more four-letter words to come out of her, but we'll work through that too. Hey. Man, we just get every piece of the pie with you, don't we, sweetie? I won't move. I won't stop. I won't move. I won't stop. There's a good girl. All right, let's get our brush. Now watch her lead real good. This is going to be funny. Watch what happens when I get to the gate. I'll get shoved right into the panel. There you go. There we go. Now, she's been a little touchy with the cinch, and I usually talk about this every year, but when you're talking about getting a horse to be comfortable with the saddle, especially this time of year, it's really important that you get the area of the cinch clean. It creates a lot of problems down the road if you got a bunch of dirt or even old dried sweat in there. It really starts to create a lot of problems because it creates discomfort. And the saddle's already something creating discomfort, so you're adding something that doesn't need to be added. So a little bit more time brushing down there and making sure that she's real, as comfortable as you can make her. I want to make sure I do that. I had my curry comb broke in just the way I want it, and I let them boys and Lloyd use it, and when I got home, I couldn't find it. Imagine that. Hey. Now, the moving around and stuff, as you guys can see, I've been working through that, and it's something that I know we're not going to get all that finished up here in one day. That's on a one-day project with a horse like her. But the nose rooting and the rood is something that will be dressed every time. And with a horse like her, I want to figure I'm going to take a stand on something. It's going to be her being rude. If she's just having trouble standing still, fair enough. I can work that through over time, and her and I can come to an understanding. But biting me and rooting her nose away from me and not following a feel of pressure and being rude about it, that's going to have to be addressed right now. I know it's uncomfortable, but you may not know it now, but I promise I am trying to do you a favor, sweetie. Now, same as with the flag or anything else, she's moving. I'm just going to continue to brush her, give her some comfort with that, get her to where she's good with it. Don't you bite me. I'd hate to have to bite her back in front of everybody. Gosh, this time of year, they should be giving us like 55 minutes, and you're only allowed to brush for 10 of them. Get up there in her armpits really good. Good girl. Good girl. Hey? Okay. Hey. Right there. That's that unacceptable behavior, sweetie. And that started just from her pulling that rope out of my hand. And I'm thinking about it as if I was sitting on her right now. And she started to pull the reins out of my hand. It needs to be addressed. So she starts to kind of have a little bit of a thought through that. And I start to create the motivation for it. You can be soft in one circle, or I can work 10 until you're soft. As you can see with her, she does have the attitude that she takes 10 more than a horse should. There we go. That's clean. Now, I talked a little bit about ground tie with her, and I didn't want to get into it too much there this morning. We definitely had our list of things we needed to get through, but a good way to kind of cool a horse's brain off is to give them choices. In the ground tie, we back them up till they're soft, we drop the rope, we walk away until they decide to stay. It's nothing I can hold on to her and make her do, but with this horse, the way she gets a little revved up and her anxiety kind of gets the better of her, I really want to give her some choices right here to start the day, and I think that's going to help cool her brain a little bit once I ride her. Because when I ride her, I mean, there's nothing wrong. She's not going to buck me off. She's not out there to hurt me or nothing, but she just has a hard time following me. So I'm hoping to get her brain a little more connected by working on that ground tie again, and I'm also hoping to work on the stop here this afternoon. Now, the stop is going to be generated through the backup. So my horse usually only stops as good as they back up, right? So this is going to get me kind of, I talked about people wanting 60 days of training in 30. This is a great way to get two things done at once. I'm going to get her brain and I'm going to get her back up, which is going to allow me to get on her with her good in the mind and her good in the backup. Love to see the kids all running around this weekend having fun with horses. Next generation. Atta girl. Better's better. That's her whole story, eh? 3 seconds of good. Thank you. Go ahead. There's you soft clappers out there again. I sure appreciate it. Good job. Something like that, especially with a horse like her, you know, some colts they get to where they kind of give it up after a few days and they're quiet and you kind of got to get their feet moving. But with a horse like her, ground tie is a real accomplishment with her, so I'm proud of her. She did good. All right, baby. I realize you're itchy, but I'm not the place to itch. Now again, I'm going to start with touching the cinch to her belly a couple times. Like you see how as soon as that cinch touched her belly there, her first reaction was to leave. Then I just kind of use that same pattern I use with the flag or anything else that she doesn't like. She's going to keep doing it till she gets over it, and then I'm going to release. Just that same pattern of pressure and release with her. There, good girl. That's better. Gonna have to get a wrap before I get too much discipline on her. Atta girl. And she's probably relating this to me stepping on her, which is something that was a bit of trouble for us last session and definitely in our last session of the day yesterday. So that might be why she's wanting to move a little bit, is she's worried I'm going to step in that stirrup. So I'll work her through that here today, again, before we step on. If you guys did see me ride her, I'm sure happy with how it went. She moves real good. She's fairly soft for how much I've been pulling on her. Got to be happy. Now, if the cinch is going to be the thing that caused the grief, I'm just going to play with it here now that I got her buttoned up. So I'm just pulling the cinch into her lightly. I'm not sliding leather through. Just creating some tension, and then when she relaxes, I'm going to go ahead and loosen the cinch, and I'm going to pull it into her again. Good job. And kind of the same as her MO all the way through. I probably sound like a broken record here, but releasing every time I can get her to stop moving her feet. And that's just the same pattern all the way through. And using it to teach, like using that pattern to teach her to be good to saddle and using that pattern to teach her to be good to ride, it's all going to be the same approach with the same finish, which is going to make me easy to read for her. Don't get pushy on me. I can just feel her pushing against my hand if you're wondering what I meant by that. Good girl. Just don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells around her here, so I'm going to move this saddle and kind of get her back to where she'll stand a bit. Don't run right into me. I'm liking that I got a little more horse this session. By the time I caught her in my previous session today, I was just about out of horse. Sometimes that gives me a tough read on where she's at, because she's already used all the energy she kind of had for the day. I'm liking to see but I got a hold of her early enough to get maybe a better read on her and see the things I need to work on to prepare her for the finals.
Got 30 minutes to go now, Kade. 30 minutes.
I don't like having to let go of that breast collar, but she left me no choice. Hey, do you ever feel like you're making a mountain out of a molehill, Dixie? Now here, I'm going to push on her a little bit for just kind of walking over top of me and taking advantage of my grace here I'm giving her. And while I'm doing that, I'm really watching how this horse handles the pressure. If I'm going to have to add more to her to get her ready for the finals, when I start to get after her there a little bit, how does she handle it with her face? Do I feel like I'm losing her? All that stuff's kind of factoring into my mind, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy with how she takes it. And now, like we talked about this a little bit in our last session, we're talking about teaching them right and for wrong for the first little while. Now I think she's got right from wrong, but what she's doing is now she needs motivation. Good girl.
No problem now.
No problem, man. There. Oh, you're just making me work for every little bit, ain't you? Better, better. Thank you. Walk with me, not through me. Okay, I think I can send her around here a little bit, and then I'm going to talk her through the bridge, get her cinched up, climb aboard, see what we're working with. You don't have to go on it right now, it's just kind of in an unfortunate place. Looking good, moving smooth. Well, a little hoppy, but that's all right. There, she wants to crowd me, so back to moving her off me. Atta girl. There, atta girl. Thank you. All right, back to sending her out to the right. Pick up where we left off there, Dixie. They said the theme for the horses was country music. So is this a Dixie chick? Was that the thinking?
Hey, maybe, yeah. Boy, you're not just whistling Dixie there.
I won't say which one. There, she's stiff. There. Ooh. All right. Get her ready to get on tight. That was much better. See how easy that was? Just stand there. Okay, so we're going to talk about the bridge. Now, one thing when I'm working a horse over an obstacle, bridge, creek, whatever, is in the midst of doing it, I'm never willing to sacrifice what I had before I got to the bridge. So if they move off pressure when I get to the bridge, they still need to move off pressure. If I can control their feet before I go to the bridge, I'm not going to lose any control I have of her feet. So if in the midst of the bridge I feel like I can't move her feet or I can't control her, I'm going to take her off the bridge, I'm going to regain that control, and I'm going to try again. Sometimes I find people to where they want them over the obstacle so bad, they're willing to sacrifice anything just to get them to step on it. And it tells a horse kind of a bit of a bad story. If you're scared of an obstacle, you need to rely on me. But it's not just going to be a trick or a manipulation to get her on the bridge. Now there, she stepped off. I'm going to push her back. Just keep using that control I built in the halter. Good girl. Hey, she's standing still on the bridge. We found a place to park her. Good girl. Thank you. With this horse's personality, I'm sure no one's surprised to see that. If it was me sitting in the crowd watching this horse go, I'd be like, yeah, the bridge is cool, but let's see you stop her. Let's see you pull on her one time, see how that goes. Hey, sweetie, but either way, good job. Right on. Okay. Just going to send her out a little bit more, make sure I got everything fitting good after I tighten up my cinch, and then I think she's ready for some hot laps. Nice girl. Super pretty. Nice. Even if she'll kind of show me a bit of that lead. Nice. Yeah. Track up a little bit better there. Good girl. I got to where when I speed her up, she wants to go away. That was a little better. That was a little better. Much better. Now I'll just wind her down. Good girl. Right on. Thank you. Oh, you're all right. Very pretty. All right. Now, I ride my colts with a dressage whip, and I also have spurs on my feet, and this was some questions I got at the booth. And people were asking if I always use spurs or if I always use a dressage whip. Pressure is pressure. So the goal that I'm trying to accomplish with this horse, and any horse, is that they move without a spur. And a correct way to use a spur, and the way I was always taught from every good cowboy I rode with, is you never use spur first. And I never will. And I'll never use whip first. Because that starts to defeat the purpose of why we wear spurs or why we use a whip. The reason I use a dressage whip on young horses is the blunt of a cowboy boot is very dead-sided, to where the light touch of a dressage whip encourages forward motion quite a bit easier. So what it did is it created forward motion with less pressure. So as I'm riding her with it here today, I might have to use spur, but I'll never use spur first. So when you build pressure, it's the same scale I talked about in day one, and we've been kind of going all the way through, is I always start my pressure at a 1, regardless of a spur, a whip, or bare cowboy boot. There is no difference. A horse will always have the option to move off of a 1, and when people talk about good feel, I think that's what they mean. Hey, sweetie. All right, here comes her favorite part. For those of you who know me, that's sarcasm. All right, darling. Hello. That's the one. It's got to be more comfortable with me on you there, sweetie. Now here I'm gonna hang for a minute, as much as I don't like having to stay any more than I have to, but I'd like to solidify her to where I don't have to get on her and in motion all the time. We are not a Pony Express rider. Whoa. Well, I might just sit side saddle for a minute. That's gonna take a bit. Hey, I know. Yeah, I hear you. Hear you loud and clear there. Dixie, get on and go. I hear you. Let's get to it. She is a get her done animal. Okay, so talked about this a little bit in our first session. Our first step will be getting her back to where she was. So when I finished my session this morning, for those of you who couldn't make it, I could walk, I could trot, and I could almost lope, maybe a little bit of lope. But what I did accomplish that I felt good about was I could turn and pull on both reins. Obviously, there's still a few potholes in this road, but it's getting good, and I feel like she understands where I'm going with it. So once I have control of her face, I'm going to feel like I'm going to be able to turn and guide her through the finals. But I do have to have some form of brakes on this hot rod, and that's what I'm going to try to accomplish today. So I'm going to start by just pushing her around. I want to get her moved out. I want to be able to get her fall on her nose, and then I'm going to teach her to stop and back up. Hi. Should have got her to yell, ha! Now here, she's gonna get a little sticky. Hi.
Now, so far out of these three fillies, she's the only one that hasn't actually bucked with the rider in the saddle so far.
Gosh. You know what I'm thinking, don't you?
Just trying to give you confidence, Kade.
Yes. I would love to have had that conversation with you Sunday night, but whatever, we're here. You went there. She don't have that personality, to be honest with you. She's just a different mindset than that. She doesn't have a whole lot of a no in her. If you guys just even watching her, you know, it's when she gets into trouble, it's rarely because she's saying, I won't do that. Most of the time when she gets into trouble, it's because she can't control herself. No, please don't lay down. It'd probably be the only time we got whoa out of her all weekend, but we'll save that for our freestyle. No. Good opportunity to start being able to get some direction change on her here. When she starts cutting into the middle, kind of work her back to the rail and let her find some comfort out there. So when we get to the really, really big pen, I'm hoping this is where she's going to want to be. There's a good time to change some direction there. There. Yep, stay on your feet, sweetie. Atta girl. Hi, sweetie. If she starts loping, watch out. I don't want her to kick rocks at you. Well, who would have thunk it? She's better to the right than she is to the left. That hasn't been the case, but she sure feels good right there. Thank you. Oh, you want to just keep clapping for a sec, folks?
Now, he didn't say yell and whistle, did he?
Thank you.
15 minutes. 15 minutes, Kate.
Thanks, Hugh. So as far as checking things off the list, I'm super happy with her.
Poop on cue.
Oh, yeah, she's in a good mood now. I know that I know when I pick up on 2 reins, it's going to be a lot for her to take. So I'm going to be really clear and try to be really careful here. Now, if she makes a mistake and she goes to walk off, it's really important, especially when you got a colt, you're riding in the halter, that if she makes a mistake and walks off, I can't panic and pull harder or start trying to. I heard Martin Black do an article about this, talking about cue and leverage. I have to really think of it as a cue, not a leverage. Yeah, get on the bridge. Nobody's impressed. We want to see if you can stop. So when I pull on her, I have to keep the same pressure and release I've been talking about the entire time. And this is where sometimes I catch people make a bad mistake in the backup, is because they're not going backwards, they panic and they try to make it like a, you got to get there out of her. I just want to wait. And if it takes me a lap, please God, don't be 2 laps, but if it takes me a while to get her stopped, I've got to make sure that my approach and pressure has to be the same. So regardless of mistake, even there, I really don't like that, but I do like that. It's a heck of a good start. Hey, who are you? She went to leave and then she stopped? There. Heck of a good start, doll. I know it's hard for you. Thank you. Go. She's quite predictable. I'm really trying to make sure when I'm riding her around here that she's not getting any more contact than necessary. So if I got to pick up and send her a direction, the moment I feel like she follows that direction is when I want to give it back to her. I feel like a horse like her, too much contact is going to create even more anxiety. So I really want to show her kind of the way, and once she's going that way, I want her to find that piece. So when I was jogging around, that's why you guys seen me hanging that slack out there, is too much pressure on an animal like her is going to bring that anxiety to the surface, and it's going to make it even worse. So even right here, when she's a little lost, odds are we're going to end up at the gate, but I just want to show her more follow-through than fist fight. And then again with our feel, it's going to be anything the direction to correct. I might have to abort mission if you're going to be the rudest you've been the entire time since I met you. No. No. And that gait is like a drug for her. As soon as she gets close to it, she can't say no. I'm just gonna hold steady, let her find it, and when she does, I can go ahead and release. Good girl. Anything the direction to correct is gonna be where we're gonna start with this, and we knew this was gonna be a bit of an issue. So that's why I wanted to make sure I had lots of time, and I really wanted to dedicate the last part of this session to that. I'd like a little face to go with it, but she heard me. Quit. Quit, Dixie. Be the good Dixie chick, not the mean one. Good job. Thank you. Go do something here. You got steam to burn off, let's burn it. Loping circles ain't gonna hurt you, so let's get one. Yeah. Ooh, them random lead changes into the fence are not my favorite thing she does. Pick a lead, honey, stick with it. Oh, is that a buck? That's a pathetic excuse for one.
Oh, yeah. yeah, there's a little counter canter there.
You got to counter him too, I guess. There. Just line out and go somewhere. Direction change into the middle. Good girl. Thank you. Yeehaw. On the road again. She heard direction change and said, "You bet." Now her grumpiness is going to keep coming to the surface, so I got to make sure that I have a consistent way of dealing with it. And right now, I try to leave her alone as much as I can. And when that grumpiness comes to the surface, she's going to start finding more and more out of me. And it's not going to be pressure like, "Quit that." I'm going to take her out there and we're going to go work on something. She needed to lope circles, and I didn't want to go out there and just do it for the sake of doing it. I knew her and I might have a little fist fight, and what better reason to go work on the lope. Now let's see if this thing works again.
9 minutes, Kade.
Thanks, you.
9 minutes.
Better. Now she takes off to the left. I'll pick up and send her back out to the right. She takes off to the right. She's going to be going to the left. Her and I are going to start having a little bit more direction here. You can see I'm slowly increasing that expectation of her, what I expect out of her, and it's not random. You know, it's something that I'm increasing it because I feel her with me, and she knows right from wrong. Like, I'm feeling her follow that feel and follow that pressure, and then in the next breath, sell me out. So if I felt like she was nervous or I didn't feel like the message was coming in clear, we'd have a different conversation, but she's a very bad poker player because she cannot bluff. She does it, thank you. She does it perfect and then does it terrible. So I'm picking up what you're putting down, Dixie. Good job. All right. I'm going to keep kind of working this back up through. It's not going to be something I have to get all the way done, but I want her to understand it. Nice work, baby. There she takes off to the left. What a good time to take her off to the right. Now, I've been working on body control with her a little bit. I feel like I have good control of her face, and I have good control in her hip. So after I get a couple good backups here, and I feel like I got good control of that, the one piece of the puzzle that I haven't put together yet are her shoulders. Oh, it's so nice when you stand still. So I'll walk you guys through that after I feel like we found some clear understanding with the backup here. See right there, you can tell she knew what to do. She just made a bad decision. Atta girl. Huh? She still don't know what to do with herself. You were just a hot mess, sweetie. Pay if we turned her loose in the big arena, she'd just lope circles by herself. I got it. I'm backing her up away from the gate. That's a high rate of difficulty. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I talked about shoulders, and this is going to be good for our guide. So I'll just give you guys kind of an idea how I'm going to use this. And it's pretty much based off the idea of direct rein body control. So when I talk about direct rein body control, maybe sounds like a fancier word than it really is. Whichever direction I'm pulling the rein should establish a body part. So when I grab my rein and I pull up towards my saddle horn in front of my body, that left hind leg should step under my saddle. And that should, create that hip motion. Now, to the right would be the same. Now, in this instance, I'm using inside leg, so it's my right leg right now that's pushing her hip there to the left. Now, inside leg and outside leg is something that's been taught, but I really love the expression of it. I've been trying to think of something that's steady all the way through, from first ride to lead changes, and a good expression that you can never go wrong with is legs push. So anytime I'm asking an animal to do something with my legs, it's going to be moving the body part away from the leg. It will always be pushing. There's some weird stuff on Facebook. I should say 95% of everybody would agree with this. So now when I go to the shoulder, I've got to pull in a way that allows her to follow the feel. So I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to lift the shoulder, and I'm looking for that left front leg to step underneath my left stirrup. Now, if I need leg, it's going to be my right leg that pushes, so my outside leg. There, she's getting close. I want to wait for a little more commitment out of her, and when you got this much go, you're going to need a little steering to go with it. Now, all I got to do is the same thing I've been talking about with this animal since day one, is maintain pressure until I accomplish what I come to get. There, and then I let go. Thank you. You know, we're going again.
4.5 minutes to go, Kade.
Boy.
4.5.
2.5 to teach her shoulders on the right, or give it a go. That's getting pretty good there. Now, the idea here is she's going to step underneath my hand, or underneath my stirrup, whichever is a better, landmark for somebody. Getting there. Still not giving me all of it. I'd like to see her a little better, but yeah, we're getting there. Hey, sweetie, thank you. Go ahead and clap. She's just going to run off anyway, so don't feel like you're not allowed. Not for my account. Don't clap for something you don't like, but don't not clap because you're walking on eggshells around me. Just going to try her one more time here to the left. There, good girl. Get them front feet moving. Now before, I couldn't get off of this animal because I couldn't get her to stop moving her feet. I should be able to get her to stop moving her feet now. Good job, sweetie. Wait, ow. Thank you. You Edam girls were jumping the gun. Well, that went better than I thought it would. She did well in the backup. I feel like my body control is working really good. Still some things in there that I'd definitely like to change about her. I'd like her to come back to me a little bit. I feel like I gotta keep up with her all the time. She's definitely making me work, but she's also, you know, I had some people say she was a tough one. Anybody's ever started colts? A horse that likes to move their feet, they're not tough. In this challenge, maybe. You know, maybe she has her hard spots for the time restraints and stuff that we have, but at the same time, she's been there for me every step of the way. So, did I think I was picking an easy horse? Yeah. Did I get an easy horse? No, not so much. Still been a fun challenge, though. I've got to work on things with her that I have not, got to work on very many times, because usually you're trying to move them out. She moves out. Hey, you have a whole stall to itch on. You got the wrong guy.
2 minutes. No, 2 minutes, Kade.
Okay, that head rubbing stuff is going to get fixed right away. She speaketh English. She hears me every time I say, I'm going to work on this, and then I go to do it, and she's like, yeah, I got it. And then I'm like, okay, we're done with that, and then she knocks me off my feet. She's flirting. Nope, that's crossing the line. Quit. Self-control, sweetheart. She's definitely an open book. When you look at her and you read her eyes and her ears and her intent, she wears it all out there. She doesn't hide much from me. Don't you do it, you pickle. Don't, hey.
She just wants to speak into your mic there. She's got a few words she'd like to say about you.
Yeah, I'll put it on when she's done and she can wear it all night long, but for right now, she can just stay out of my bubble.
45 seconds left.
All right, well, we're getting her done here right now. This is a good thing for her to finish on, is maybe just realizing her feet don't have to move all the time. You little stinker. I got no treats for you. I'm more than happy to love on you, but I'm going to come to you. Okay, I'm done whenever we're ready. Thank you guys for coming and watching. We'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, Kade Mills, another fine job with the
Hey.
Dixie Chick.